What's up, everybody? We're back. It's time. We're gonna review Nomadland, and if you're just joining us, welcome. And if you are doing that, then you should. If you haven't seen our earlier portion of this episode, you should definitely go check it out. We did what's streaming, and we did a little bit of the news. Yeah, and there was a whole bunch of both of them actually this week. So there's a lot to check out and kind of catch up on. Got a little hour of that for you there. And if you've been listening to us this whole time, then thanks for hanging out the whole time with us, podcast listeners. So anyways, we're going to be doing Nomadland. This is directed by Chloe Zhao, the director of the upcoming Eternals movie. And she has one other feature film, which I think was a big deal when it came out. It's called The Rider. It's about I think like a horse rider, bull rider, something along those lines, like cowboy of some sort.
That doesn't sound right.
I think it's a documentary, though, which actually would make sense if it is a documentary after seeing this movie.
Would. Yes.
So I won't go ahead and spoil too much about that. But so she is doing the Eternals, so it does make us pretty interesting about what the Eternals is going to be. But also this stars Frances McDormand, who you'll probably know from 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. She was also in Fargo.
Mm-hmm. Was she?
The movie, yeah. She was the cop
from
Fargo.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and she's been in Almost Famous, Moonrise Kingdom.
Been around for a while.
Yeah, that's the thing. She's been acting for quite a while.
She's
Literal
definitely
decades.
Yeah, quite a while.
Yep.
So yeah, she's in this, and then earlier we talked about one of the other actors that's in the movie who's from The Expanse, which is David Strathairn. I'm gonna say.
Yep. Sure enough.
So yeah, but there's not a whole lot of other people, and honestly, there were multiple parts in this movie where I was wondering if certain people weren't even actors, that they were just people.
They could have just been people.
Yeah, I think that there was a lot of just regular old folks.
I don't know.
I'm 99% sure they're all just regular people.
You think so?
I'm almost positive.
I am not
Really?
that positive.
Really?
Well, we'll talk about it.
Then they're the best actors in the world.
Right. So the synopsis for Nomadland is: after losing everything in the Great Recession, a woman embarks on a journey through the American West, living as a van-dwelling modern-day nomad. And that pretty much hits it nail on the head as far as that breaks it down.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with what the Great Recession was,
Yeah.
it's from the 2008
The
market
late
crash.
2000s mortgage market crash.
And it took a big, giant dump on all of us.
Yeah.
So, well, our parents.
Yeah, I was about to say we were
And our
we
college.
were children.
Our colleges, right?
Yeah.
That was like before college.
Right.
So,
Well, that was after.
After?
I graduated in 2006.
Yeah, so it was a train wreck, but yeah, a lot of people lost jobs, and this was actually based off a book too, from what I've heard. So based off a book as well.
Interesting.
So I don't know if the book is a true thing or if it's just a book.
Yeah, they
but
never said.
Right.
They didn't. It just
Normally,
is
you know,
based
they
off
at
a
least
novel,
say
based off a true story,
based on
which
true
makes
story.
me think that it wasn't a true story. It's just a novel, maybe
Based loosely
on
around things
something
that could have happened at the time.
Exactly. So we'll go ahead and go into the normal format of how our reviews work. And if you don't know, our whole thing is quite often skewering Rotten Tomatoes and really just putting critics under a microscope. So we're going to do a little bit of that as usual, most likely. And so first we'll talk about who should and shouldn't see this movie, or basically what this movie compares to. And I was thinking about it while watching it, and really the only thing I could think of was, if you're into documentaries, there's a good chance you'll be into this movie.
Yeah.
Even though it's not a documentary,
Yeah.
it's a documentary.
I was watching and I was like, this has a feel of other movies, and I just could not put my finger on it because this is not the normal kind of movie I would watch.
I know, same.
But I know there's other movies that are
Like
so
this?
similar. Like it almost reminded me of Sound of Metal, sort of, and
kind
It
of.
had a similar feel.
it did. I don't know if it was the
It's the
cinematography,
I think that's it.
Yeah.
but I was watching and I kept thinking back to the Sound of Metal, kind of deal.
Right.
So
Yeah, I could get behind that. That's probably a good one. But it's really,
I would definitely wholeheartedly agree with documentary.
yeah,
Like if you're into documentaries,
yeah.
but it's weird because it's not. They don't interview people necessarily, so it's not like interview style documentaries.
necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, they talk to people,
Right. So it's like it's similar,
more of the vibe.
but it's
Yeah.
not, right.
It's more of a documentary vibe, not a format.
Exactly.
Where it's like
Right.
sometimes you will get movies that are supposed to feel like a documentary.
Right.
This was more of just
where they're literally talking into the camera. This
Yeah.
it's the same. It has the same feel as them talking to the camera, but they're actually talking to other people.
Right,
It's like
conversations.
You're hanging out in an AA meeting.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's really the best way to do it. Now, what we do after talking about this is normally we talk about what we think that the critics are going to think and what we think that the general audience is going to think. And with this movie, that's a little bit difficult because I got it spoiled, and so did Chris because of me. Luckily, Matt was not looking.
Yeah,
So
it's all on Matt
This
right
is
now.
all on Matt as to what we think is going to happen in this movie.
Since I'm
Regardless-
always wrong, let's do
regardless,
this.
Matt is going to win
Yes.
this
Yes.
episode.
I
will
finally
win.
won, guys. It's been a long time.
Right.
Yeah, it feels good.
Long time
Can I
coming.
have
So
a
get in,
laurels?
baby.
Yep.
Some victorious.
We'll get you a medal.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
What do you think about this?
Critics, I'm gonna say a 95, and audience 85. That's what I'm going.
So you think across the board people are going to like this?
I think people are gonna like it. I think critics are gonna like it more.
Okay.
This is definitely one of those movies I can see the critics just being so about.
Interesting. Yeah. I definitely, I would have agreed with that. Even if I hadn't had it spoiled, I would say that. And obviously, I led with the fact that this is already being mentioned for award season and
Right. Which, yeah.
all that jazz. But
Which, I mean, the trailer definitely led to that.
yeah, it showed a picture of like a million, awards things that it won from all these indie festivals.
Right. Which mean like nothing, but
Yeah, exactly.
How dare you?
Yeah, and
I dare.
Good. Someone needs to. That's why we're here. We're here to dare. So, and we have actually started last week. We started talking about the movie trailers, and we started watching movie trailers after we watch the movie because we don't like to watch trailers. We never watch them. We come in completely blind to everything, or as blind as possible. And so, we did see the trailer just a second ago. And what did you guys think about it?
Should we talk about that now, or should we talk about it like after we talk about
As
the
far
movie?
as comparison wise, at least,
does it like spoil stuff?
Does it spoil?
It's a good representation of the movie.
I think so too. And honestly, I'm normally very anti-trailer. This is a good trailer, I think.
I think it's a pretty good
It
trailer.
definitely sets the mood correctly.
Yeah.
You definitely can see what the movie's about in this trailer versus just showing too much. I mean, it does show a lot, but this is one of those movies where that's okay.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You can't spoil this movie.
Right.
You
I don't want to get
literally
too much
can't
into
spoil
it,
this
but
movie.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion,
Wait.
We're
Are
already
we kind of
spoiler.
like, isn't this entire thing spoiled?
Yeah.
Or
I mean,
are
we're
we gonna, like,
tiptoeing around it. We're tiptoeing
We're gonna
around
like
it.
timestamp it.
Yeah, starting as of now, we'll go ahead and get into spoiler territory, let you know what we think and feel. But I did just want to talk about the trailer in case if you hadn't seen it yet and you were debating on it, you could have some idea what you're getting into, or if you'd even want to see the trailer or whatever the case may be. So I think the trailer's safe with watching this movie, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely think so. I don't think this is a movie where the
There's
trailer
nothing
gives.
to spoil,
Yeah, I agree.
essentially.
Yeah, it's a safe trailer, we'll call it.
Which, I
Maybe
mean,
that's what we
this-
should
this
call
trailer-
this segment. Is the trailer
Is
safe?
it safe?
Trailer safe?
Is this a meth trailer? Will it explode? Nobody
Is he gonna
knows.
shank you in a corner?
Maybe. So
No, there isn't a whole lot to spoil in this movie, so
Yeah.
the trailer is going
by
to be
nature,
good,
yeah.
like comparatively.
Yeah, I agree.
Watch the trailer. See if you
Yeah,
want to watch
if-
the movie.
If you've seen the trailer, I mean, it doesn't ruin the movie. So.
All right, so spoilers now, guys. Anything you
Yeah.
hear from here on out, you can't blame us. Yeah, right. So I want to know what you guys thought about this movie. I'm pretty intrigued. I have a vibe about this one, but not about you.
Oh wow, jeez.
Sorry,
Just cutting
you're
deep.
predictable.
No, I'm just saying you're not interested in Matt.
No, I am interested in Matt.
No, he's interested because
I'm
he
not
doesn't know.
interested
He
in
can't
you.
tell what my vibe was on this movie.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah, no, I just don't.
I'm pretty boring.
No, I've gotten to where I can kind of get close to what you,
Oh, yeah?
where you are with movies, but with Matt, sometimes like
Wow, child.
Wow,
well,
card.
Woo!
he's like if I did crack, like he's gonna like a lot of the stuff. If
Right, yeah,
I did
sure,
crack, it's like because there's things like that they're pretty eye to eye on a lot, but
Yeah.
then there will be something that I'll really like, and you're just like that was a pile of shit. Like, so
Well, I'll say I really enjoyed this movie.
really
Yep.
interesting.
Yeah, like I said earlier, like this is not normally my kind of movie.
Yeah.
But I definitely have a deep appreciation for like nomads, like van lifers,
Oh, for sure.
Interesting.
and it definitely like
Sure.
if I was straight out of college, I would have done something along this line. Which is interesting that this is quite the opposite of what I just said, because this movie is literally about older people that do this.
Yeah.
And they even talk about it. They're like, yeah, only like we really only have like older people coming out here, kind of deal. Mm-hmm. No, I really enjoyed it.
Okay, interesting. Chris, I'm guessing you liked it.
Yeah. I can appreciate it. Like, it was very well done, and I am looking forward to what Chloe Zhao is going to do with the Internals.
Yes.
The Internals.
The Internals.
It's a totally new thing.
It's about the movie's about the Hulk's digestive system. It's called The Internals, and it ends with him taking a shit.
It's the sequel to.
It's how hard his body has to fight.
Speaking of, okay, there's a scene in the beginning of this movie before I talk about what I thought about it. Okay, so this was probably just
Can
me
I
being.
talk about what I thought about it?
You can in 1 second. So there's a scene right in the beginning, and it's her peeing on a fence. Right? She's standing like right by a fence, and she's taking a leak.
That was weird.
So she's shaking her pee off, but like being a man, obviously my first thought was like, because I'm not like sitting down to pee, I'm like, is she trying to shake a turd out? Like, is she like?
We've all been there.
I was just confused as why she went all the way
to the fence to pee. Who does that? Why don't
Unless my only thought was like maybe there's some sort of like unwritten law of the road where it's like you don't pee right off the road.
But like that's where she's like
I don't think so, but I don't know. I was like she went all the way to the fence. Maybe she wanted to hold on to the fence post.
Maybe
to squat and pee.
But then she said she had bad knees. So
why don't you hold on to your car doors on the opposite side of the road?
Not out in the open.
Like a normal
she
person.
was like in the Midwest, so there's no cover.
There's
no hills.
I don't know.
She was just shaking off that turd right in public. I mean,
hey, do what you gotta do.
Anyways, I was just curious if anybody else. I was like, because my first thought was like, why is she shaking that turd out?
No, it's because she didn't have toilet paper.
It was because she was a lady and she was peeing.
Yeah, she was flapping her labias. Right?
Yeah. So that's
what they do.
how they do.
Facts.
Obviously, you know nothing about women, Brian.
I know.
I'll explain it to you later.
No, I would really like for you to diagram.
That'll be a separate recording.
Yeah, draw it out. I want to see this, like, for sure. So, okay, so go ahead. I want to know. You can.
I was very impressed with it. I was impressed with the cinematography and the directing. The story overall wasn't very captivating to me. Like, it wasn't. Obviously, there was nothing exciting about this movie. Like, it was a documentary, and it had depressing, sad, slow aspects to it, where it really makes you think about life and like, are you doing what you want to do? Like, are you just working, living to work, or working to live? Blah blah blah. But yeah, I mean, it's not something I would really recommend to people. It didn't like hit me hard or anything. It didn't enlighten my life, in a way that some movies that are hard hitting or heavy can do, to where it like makes you actually be introspective and think about things in a different perspective. It was, but I mean, it's still it's hard to even say that it was a good story. I mean, I guess it was a good story in the end.
I feel like there is a good story in there because it's about her kind of figuring out her trauma, basically, and learning
how to
let
live
go
after loss, and living her actual life rather than just staying in the same place, Empire, for ever. And I do honestly think that most of the people in that movie that weren't well-known actors were actual people, like
that do this,
that
are nomads.
Yeah,
I
the
had
stories that they tell, especially the most hard-hitting portion of it is Santa Claus, telling the story about his son committing suicide, and like that you can't. I'm willing. I know a lot of really good method actors, but I mean, like that reaction that
real.
he had to it was like that. It's very hard to emulate that kind of a reaction.
Well, and part of why I feel like this is the case also is when you look at the IMDb page, no one has a picture.
Right. And they're all in there by their names.
Everything.
See, that's cheating, though. And everybody going to discussing.
I didn't notice it till just now, actually.
Right, but you are right. They're all in there by like.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't have an actual competition.
No, I mean, like they all have.
I was right
on IMDb. They all have their exact same.
Literally,
name.
the only person that doesn't have their own name is the main actress,
and the guy. He's further down. The guy from The Expanse.
It was very well done. I don't know. It was just kind of it was just like a sad movie. I don't know.
It's definitely very sad, and that's the interesting thing. So, like on Instagram and everything, they show van life, and it's all like cool. We're gonna build out a Sprinter van or a camper, and we're gonna go like and see all the stuff in the world. And this movie was like, you have to work. Like you follow the jobs, and most of these people seem to be like they're out here for a reason. They're not just going site to site to look at the wonders of the world necessarily. They're they're running they're running from traumas or something.
Right.
That's kind of the vibe I got. So I'll go ahead and say I did not like this movie.
Oh, really?
I didn't like this movie. It was painfully depressing.
It was a depressing movie.
And when I say that, like Chris said, I can agree. I thought there was fantastic cinematography. I love the score. I thought the music in this movie was fantastic. Like, every shot in this movie was expertly done, intentional. Everything in this movie felt intentional.
Right.
And I felt like Chloe Zhao did everything that she could with this story. And I'm sure that this is basically what the story was, what the book was. I don't like this book, this story. This
Right.
Do you think it's like the style of the way it was told?
It's honestly, a lot of it for me is the subject matter. Aside from the fact that honestly, I just found it rather uninteresting. So I'm not into the whole nomad life thing.
Yeah.
And I just don't like. That is not me. Like, I'm the type of person, like, if you're going to find me doing that, it's because I'm close to, like, suicide. Like, I'm getting ready to shoot myself.
Well,
if I disappear in a van,
That's a lot of the stories.
Blade's
From
going
Which
to
that's
die.
one of those.
It is.
Ladies
Like,
was talking
it's just,
about.
Well, and because, like, there were several years where I did the trucking company, and I was gone a lot, and this reminded me a lot of that, and never in my life have I been more depressed than I was when I was doing that. Like, I'm not the type of person, like, I don't like being alone. Like, and not to where it's like I have to have somebody there all the time. Like, I like my space, but like I don't like being isolated for long periods of time. Like, I'm not that type of person. I don't like being fully by myself. I don't like having friends around. Like, that's not me.
Yeah.
And I also just like my space. Like, I'm not the type of person, like, even though I had like my truck and everything, I didn't like it. Like, I didn't like being trapped in that truck, in that space. Like, I get claustrophobic.
Right.
And this whole movie, I was just like, oh my God, this is my worst nightmare. Everything about this is my worst nightmare. I hate all of this.
Like when she's shitting on a bucket?
Yeah. Oh, been there, done that, shitted on many a bucket. Like, and it's just like all of that stuff. Like, I'm just like, this is just like, this is trauma. Like, it's flashback. So it's just like, all of that. I'm just not about that lifestyle. Also, like, I found it interesting though. One of the things that I did like is how Matt was saying that the aspect of it is, you know, like you said, on Instagram or TikTok or wherever, they glorify this lifestyle. And I've always looked at it like, this looks like a depressing life.
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't look fun to me. Like,
Right.
I've kind of done it. Like, I didn't full-time live in it, but I mean, sometimes I'd spend a week by myself, like,
Right.
living in a truck. And I actually had a semi-decent amount of space, and I still hated it. Like, and so I liked that it didn't glorify this lifestyle. And I found that interesting. Like, that was an interesting take.
Yeah.
But also, like, I just really didn't like her character. She's an asshole. Like, I just didn't
She was
like her.
just very. I don't even know how to
Rough.
put her character.
Rough
She's like,
is-
yeah.
and she just didn't care about people. Like, she didn't.
Well, so I wonder if that's just. So I'm trying to figure out how they would have filmed this. So if everybody in the movie but her and that other guy were not paid, like they were real, just people.
Yeah.
So did they just show up and they're like, hey, like we're gonna film this thing, and she's an actress, so she's just gonna kind of ask you about your van life experiences, and we're gonna record them. Like, do you think that's what they did?
I think it is. They probably scheduled these things. They found out, like, because, you know, they were going to those meetups where these people were and stuff. Like, and I think probably the one kid that she ran into a couple times, like, he was probably a real actor, who was wearing, like, the Western garb. She ran into
He
him, like,
also
Yeah.
still felt very much
He
so
did.
like one of the train jumper people.
he did. I mean, I've met people like that.
Exactly.
Like, you
Like,
know.
same. They live in Asheville.
Yeah, they do. So it's like, but I think that there's a good chance that he was an actual actor, and it looks like there are a couple people.
Swanky.
There he
whatever
is.
his
See,
name is.
yeah, and he has an
Okay.
IMDb credit. It is under his name, but which most of the people in the show.
Why does he look so old?
Oh yeah, he's an actor. Definitely, he's done several things.
Oh yeah,
What?
definitely an actor. But it could also be a thing.
Oh no,
where-
that's the son. That's his son.
Yeah.
That never mind. That's
Right.
not the.
I was gonna say, like.
Anyways,
what?
you guys can't see what we're seeing, but we're kind of trying to look through and figure out who was real and who wasn't. But, anyways, long story short, you know,
Yeah.
You didn't like the movie. You actively disliked the movie.
I just found it wildly uninteresting. I really didn't like her character.
Sure.
I didn't care about the story. I would not tell anybody to watch this movie.
Same.
Like, and it made me I mean, I've watched a lot of movies that have been a lot more depressed watching, but it made me pretty depressed.
So yes,
So
you actively dislike this movie.
I guess it's a weird thing because it's like I don't come out of this being like Chloe Zhao is a bad filmmaker. I think she's a superb filmmaker.
Yeah. It was great.
But also, this movie sucks.
It was just a bad story in my like. Not even a bad story. It's just not a story that did anything for me. Like maybe there's some people that like really could either relate.
Well, it
to
sounds
it
like
or
Matt.
Well, I feel
Really
like
really
if
like
it's
that.
especially if somebody's dealing with the trauma, because I mean that's really what this talks about. Like,
Well-
you know, she couldn't let go of her trauma, so
Right.
she couldn't deal with her family, so she just dropped everything and became a nomad,
Well,
so that she could just basically more or less run away.
sure, and that's is the interesting thing though, is it feels like the argument that this movie's making, it proves itself to be wrong, almost like because it feels like it's like. Well, one, everybody knows like running from your problems is not the way to solve them.
Right.
Like that's just a known thing, right? So, and that seems to be what these people do. A lot of these people in this lifestyle do is they run from their problems. And I mean, even for this main character, like everything that she did, it just seems like it's like you have these opportunities here. Like there's also like there's somebody that you clearly care about that cares about you. You ditch them because you've just got to have this lifestyle. And it just seems like this lifestyle is extremely difficult and makes people who are in trauma or having struggles, it makes their life harder, not better.
I think that's the purpose of this.
Maybe it is
that was kind of like the whole thing, is that these people have these lifestyles and they just get so used to it that they can't revert back to normal life. And that was what they were showing with that love interest character.
Yeah.
Was he was a hardcore van lifer, and then he found out his son, who he wasn't there for, had a kid, and he was like, well, this is my chance.
Well, and wildly
at
enough,
the
she
second
convinced him.
Right, so she was like, okay, I guess I'll
So
go.
it's like, hey, be a grandfather. All right, bye.
Right, but it was enough to push him
Yeah.
in that direction.
Right.
So he went, and then at that point, he was like, well, maybe I do like being a grandpa. Maybe I do like having a family around me and all that.
Yeah.
And that's where she doesn't have that kind of I mean, she does have her sister,
Yeah.
but
Which,
it didn't
and that's the
seem
thing,
to be
like,
enough.
she was shitty to all those people.
Right.
She was shitty to the dude that clearly was falling in love with her. Like she was even like had a weird relationship with the one van lady she was friends with. Like they were both kind of D-bags to each
Yeah,
other.
it was very like on edge.
Everything-
Constantly. It seemed like they were drug addicts.
Yeah.
Like after watching
Bliss.
Bliss, like
Yeah.
they had like a very similar like interactions with each other where
Yeah.
it's like it's very there wasn't any like subtext wordplay getting to know somebody, like caring about somebody's. It's just like cut dry, like
I need this from you. Like
Right.
everybody that interacted with each other was like, I need this from you because I'm in this lifestyle and this lifestyle demands things from other people because I'm one step away from being homeless.
But there's also still the like the generosity that goes along it, because where it's
Sure.
like he's like, here, you can have this can opener. She's like, okay, we'll take one of my pop.
Yeah, well, we're still going to trade. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to be a
There's
barter.
also, like,
Like,
fair
yeah, a
sort
lot
of
of these
fair.
people barter and trade and all that. So
Yeah, so I
it's
don't
just
know
a
if that's a more true interpretation that we don't see of
Yeah.
this lifestyle.
Right.
Where we're like, wow, this is kind of harsh, but maybe that's really how it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to tell because then it also showed them all coming together at the fire and like, being like, well, we really bond as a group because we're all kind of loners.
Can I just say, like, everybody in this movie just seemed like really weird and kind of lame. Like, we're just very strange.
Because they're all by themselves in vans.
I guess, yeah. What were you going to say?
It's just thinking about it. I know it was supposed to be a super like heartwarming, touching scene whenever they're all around the fire at the end,
Yeah.
tossing rocks in there.
Yeah.
And one of the first they throw the rock and they're just like, because she likes rocks. And I'm just like, cool. Yeah.
This makes sense.
She likes rocks.
Yep.
Like that's
she
what she had
did.
to say about her life. She does like rocks.
She likes
You know?
rocks.
Because she had that whole rock collection that she was telling Fern about.
Maybe say something a little bit more personable about it. Like,
I know,
she was a nice person. That would be better than she likes rocks.
Yeah.
Was she
It's
a nice
like-
person?
It's like
I
Matt
like
dies
her
and we're like having a fire. We're like, he liked t-shirts.
Yeah,
like,
man.
He had some interesting
He
t-shirts.
really did like he always wore t-shirts.
Always
so
Always
wore
wore
them.
t-shirts.
this guy.
This is true.
And his
He just
t-shirts.
him and his t-shirts.
I know it's supposed to be very heartwarming, and like I appreciate the like coming
okay.
together community, but just
yeah.
just a funny line of like,
Yeah.
because she
Well, I wonder if it's just because, like you guys saying, like, that wasn't the actress, and she's like, I don't know what to say. Like,
yeah,
They talked about rock collection earlier, and then somebody
yeah.
was just like, just say she liked rocks.
That definitely wasn't on a script. She was just like,
And she's like,
she
well,
likes rocks. That's why I'm
she
throwing
liked
a rock in a
rocks.
fire. To burn the rocks. I hated her.
And so, I mean, before, obviously, like, with where we're at now, do you guys think... Well, we didn't spoil for Matt. We know the scores. I'll save these questions. I have some questions I want to ask about this movie.
Okay.
But I'll save them until we get into the Rotten Tomato scores. But, like, so is there anything else you guys want to talk about this? Because it's like, there is a...
Pretty boring movie.
That's the thing is there's not like a lot to talk about because it's really just her. I mean, what I thought was interesting, kind of what kept me involved in the movie was that she kept going from like job to job, kind of following another friend that's a van lifer, and then because that's interesting to me, like that's just something that nobody really talks about is how like you still have to live in this lifestyle. You can't just go do this. You still have to have an income of some sort. So it's just interesting to me showing how she went to work for Amazon and it's like a super boring job. It's like
I didn't want to bring up the Amazon stuff.
This, boom, okay, next box. So it was definitely like a, hey, do you want this corporate job where it's boring and you just do boxes?
So it was
and stuff?
Seasonal job.
Yeah.
Right.
She always went around Christmas.
Right.
Yeah. And also, did that not feel like a weird kind of advertisement for Amazon?
Oh,
like,
it totally did. That's where, because that was one of the first scenes. I was like, oh, is this going to be
But
Amazon
then I'm
for-
just like, it's boring. But that's the thing, this was a Hulu.
Right. It was a Hulu movie, but like, I wonder, like, part of me was like, how is this not an Amazon movie after this giant Amazon advertisement? It was just like, it was kind of weird because like, it was kind of like boring, but like, they didn't really paint it like that. It wasn't like they painted Amazon in any kind of bad light. And like, actually, they were like, actually,
they
during
definitely
this,
painted it in a better light
in a
than
better light.
it is in the news.
Oh yeah,
or whatever.
especially out of some of the news that's been coming out lately about what goes on in Amazon. So, I mean, it was weird to me. It just like, especially for this movie to have like the indie vibe that it had. It's like, why are you guys blowing Amazon so hard right now? Like, what is the deal?
I only felt that way in the very beginning. Like,
I
whenever
agree.
it was like, hey, we're all happy.
Yeah, when they
to
were
be here.
establishing the kind of like
It was just a jarring thing right out of the gate.
It was, and I was like, okay.
But I almost feel like they might have done that on purpose.
Maybe.
So they jarred you and they're like, wow, corporate America, like this is so like corporate. And then she's like, van. I'm in my van and it's cold. And she's like, well, shoot, I guess I'll go to where it's warm because I can.
Yeah.
And I'm free from my corporate job for now.
Cold, by the way.
Yeah.
I would not live in a van in the Midwest.
No. Well, that's why that's the beautiful thing.
I
Well,
wouldn't
right
live
now,
outside of a van.
right now, you couldn't even go to Texas. You'd have to go to Florida for the heat.
True.
But
Yeah. It was just, I just wanted to bring it up for a minute. It was one of the few things that I was like, I'm going to talk about that. Also, really awkward, her taking a messy shit in a bucket.
I thought there was going to be something more to that.
There was nothing.
Like,
it was
she
just
sick.
Random.
It wasn't like, oh, I ate a sketchy truck room.
So weird.
Like a truck stop
Burrito.
sandwich.
Like-
And now I'm
She ended
shitting
up having
myself.
Dysentery or something.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
it was just
Yeah.
she had to take a shit.
Just a random shit.
Like, part of me was like, did they cut out her eating like a really messy gas station
wonder
burrito?
if they
like,
did.
Why? That would be the most interesting thing in this movie.
Yeah, it really
Eating a
kind of
burrito.
would. Like, I mean, and there was like, that's the thing is like, there's beautiful cinematography. Like, there's gorgeous scenery. Like, and that's honestly for me, it's almost the only reason to watch it. Like, is just to see what it has to show and to hear the sounds that are coming from it. Like,
And also, if you're interested in van life, this
life.
is
Yeah.
literally
Right, so-
like a documentary about it. Like,
True.
Yeah.
True.
But it's also not wealthy people. I feel like everybody on Instagram is wealthy people doing van life.
that.
Well, it's
Like,
probably a lot of people that know they have remote jobs.
right.
So-
Yeah, if you can make money reliably, and especially any kind of good money, if you're living out of your van, if you're making $30,000 a year, that's good money for living out of a van.
Right.
I
Because all you
assume-
pay for is gas and insurance.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe
So-
wherever you're like staying every once in a while.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It's
if
a
you
cheap
have
life.
money, then van
Kinda
life
fun.
isn't going to be as terrible as it's portrayed in this movie.
Sure.
But most of these people are elderly that are just living off their Social Security because somebody was like mentioned that they had to first under retirement and Social Security was only like $500 a month. Like, yeah, that fucking sucks.
Yeah, that's
And
hard to live off
That is
of.
real hard, even living out of a van, I'm sure. So,
Sure.
but
And that is the thing is it makes sense for these older people. Like, it is a lifestyle that makes sense. It's interesting. Like, I didn't know that was an old people thing. Like, that these, like, that is a interesting insight.
Right.
You know, it's one of those things where I'm like, well, somebody could have just told me, like, it's really crazy. Like, you know, this is a thing that happens. Like, I could have read an article.
Just slip me
Well,
out
that's
and
where
then-
it might have
like-
actually been more interesting if
know.
this was a docu-series.
Yeah.
Where they
following-
were like, we are going to follow this guy,
Van-
and now we're going to
yeah.
follow this person, and we're going to follow that person, and we're going
sure.
to see the younger era of people that are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that could make it more interesting.
I
Yeah.
am very interested though in the book. Like, what made the book so interesting that
That
they
made-
thought they were like, we need to make this into a movie? Like,
Yeah.
What was that
could
movie?
you imagine this being better as a book?
There was a movie
No.
about a kid
what
who
I'm
No.
like graduated college and then decided he didn't like this and he wanted to be a Leatherfoot. So he just like traveled across the country
Huh.
and then he died in Alaska.
Oh God!
Oh.
Into the Wild.
Into the Wild.
That movie was
Was it
super
Into the
depressing.
Wild?
Yeah.
Or was that the Jonathan Taylor Thomas one? Was that?
I don't know.
Uh,
But you know what
No,
I'm
it's
talking
the guy-
about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
no,
It's totally Into
something
the Wild.
Wild America. Jonathan Taylor
Jonathan Taylor
Thomas.
Thomas.
That was a good
Totally
movie,
different
dude.
movie.
Really good movie, though. It's on Disney Plus too.
Okay.
Have you gone back and watched it?
No.
It's good.
Okay. I'm just saying.
You should watch it.
Okay.
Have you ever seen it, Matt? Oh, it's really good. Wild America. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Here's a plug. Plug
I
for.
remember watching it as a kid, but I don't remember anything about.
We
the
watched a
movie.
little bit of it the other day with the kids, and I was actually like, "Yo, this movie's really good."
It's Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
I mean, it is Jonathan. I mean,
It's me.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Like the guy knows what's up, and then he disappeared.
He did.
Just like most child actors, they
Right.
just throw down a smoke bomb and they're like, "I'm rich already, bye bitches."
Yep. Yeah.
So
Why
anyways,
act again?
I guess y'all just want to go into the review and stuff on this.
Yeah,
Or, I
let's
mean,
do it. I'm curious to
Let's
see.
start
Tomatoes.
reviewing it.
I'm curious to see because this is one of those movies where you know they could just be like sniffing his butthole
Yeah.
and be like, "Man, this
be.
is roses."
I mean, they quite often are sniffing buttholes. So, I mean, let's see.
one
I'm
with
trying
the
to find it.
tomato.
I have like a billion
There you
tabs up.
go.
Here you go, Matt. There you go. There's your score.
Oh,
You honestly would have won. Even
Oh,
if
You
you
would have won.
Oh.
So Matt guessed 95 from critics, which is exactly what it has, and he guessed an 85 from audience, and
Yep.
it's an 80. So Matt hit the nail on the head. He would have won regardless, most likely.
Oh no, I would have been like.
I would have
Critics
guessed.
would have said 50.
Really?
What, dude? Do you not understand how bad critics are at this?
I don't.
I would have
In
said
all the years.
so if I was honestly doing this, I probably would have said a 90 from critics or like an 85.
Yeah.
And I would have said by audience like a 50.
I would have said 30 by audience.
Really?
30
I
by the
couldn't
audience.
even fairly say
50 by
So-
critics.
Interesting.
Now, and
It's funny though that you. Oh no, yeah, you disliked it more than I did.
yeah.
But I gave it a lower score.
Lower score, yeah. I mean, so this is by 309 critics, which is a fair amount of critics.
Yeah,
for
standard.
Rotten
that's
Tomatoes,
all right.
about
Yeah, it's pretty standard these days.
But it's only 50 plus people, which means like 53 or something.
Why wouldn't they just say 53 then?
I don't know
Why,
why
they made it harder?
They started doing that recently.
They
So
did.
like we've seen
Yeah.
it change since we've been doing this.
What if it's
podcast.
like 150 and there was like 50 plus?
So
Technically, they're true.
now it
Right.
It is over.
Well, actually, they started doing the audience and critics consensus,
Yeah.
which is really weird because it's like
Who's the audience here?
they're making up. This whole format is just garbage. As
I mean,
always.
this is garbage.
Also,
but-
can I just say real quick? This is probably going to be controversial, but I don't like her as an actress. In anything that I've seen her in,
Have you seen her in Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing,
have
Missouri?
not.
That's the only thing I've ever liked her in.
Okay.
Well, and I really like Fargo, but it wasn't for her that I liked Fargo.
Right.
She did a good job in Fargo.
She did a good job. Like I just don't like her that much.
Right.
Like
It feels like that the same lady that always plays the crazy mother and like all of the like the what is the lake house or whatever?
Yeah.
Like that lady.
I know who you're talking about.
Well, we reviewed it. Right?
Yeah.
The house on the frozen lake and
Oh,
we reviewed
that's
it.
not what that's called at all. But
It's
yep.
not called Lake House.
I forgot that we saw that movie, The
No,
Lodge.
the lodge.
The Lodge. It's
Lodge.
close enough.
That movie.
The lady that's in that's the crazy mother. Like she always plays the crazy mother. I
Yeah.
feel the same way about
She's
her.
been
Like
stereotyped. She's
it
like
is stereotyped.
She's
but-
that weird grumpy lady that like is awkward.
and she does
Right.
that well. So I guess
does.
she's a good actress.
But
for
like
that
it's
reason.
and
She can do the
honestly,
role.
I just
like
don't like it.
this could have been in Billboards Outside of Missouri, which is so much to say. In that movie, this could have been her character later on in life. Like even though it was
Okay.
recent, like it could have been like that character just like deciding to live in a van.
Sorry,
Like
I
I think
distract
she has been typecast, like for sure. So it says critics' consensus here is that a poetic character study on the forgotten and downtrodden. Nomadland beautifully captures the relentless. Oh, the restlessness left in the wake of the Great Recession. And then for audience, it says, hang in there with its slow pace and downer of a story.
In it right there.
Yeah,
So
that's all it should say. Frances McDormand is fantastic. And this beautifully filmed drama may even help you appreciate your own life more. I mean, I can get behind the maybe like
I'm an upbeat dude.
I know,
really likes my life.
I know that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I like my life.
Though I am frequently depressed. Not about these reasons. Yeah.
I mean,
other things.
That's just living on Earth. I think.
Yeah.
Like, that's just a human condition. So I mean, yeah.
Audience definitely said it better.
Yeah, they did, which is funny because I think the site Rotten Tomatoes makes up both of these quotes for the.
I 100% think they do
for the reviews that they've read. So
there's a position that's called audience. And
Yeah.
he just or she.
You are the audience. So
we just need you to summarize real quick.
I really do find this interesting that someone from the New Yorker, this is Richard Brody, actually did not like this. You want to read that?
Sure. Yeah, Richard Brody by the New Yorker. In the end, Nomadland delivers a libertarian longing for a vague, undefined restoration of what was.
Libertarian. That what? Yeah, it's a thing. It actually.
I mean,
does.
I'm not surprised by that, but I'm like, it's just like attacking.
Well, also, can you? It's hard for me. I guess I don't think about characters necessarily in their political leaning.
Sure.
But so it's hard. I haven't thought.
Is it
about
because
her
she made
being
that quip about real estate?
I think it's more about the story being that. I think, as a whole, this is more of a. I think that they're calling the story. He is calling, which is interesting because he gave it a splat, but he said this, which I mean, from the New Yorker, maybe he doesn't like liberal libertarians.
I was about to say he just doesn't like liberal libertarians.
That would make sense as well.
Longing for a vague, undefined restoration of what was.
I mean, and it is like.
Bitch, did you live through 2008?
Right.
Everybody wanted that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was just like a nothing burger kind of a sandwich, which is, I guess, like
A nothing burger sandwich.
Yeah, it's a nothing burger sandwich of a
Nothing
movie.
burger
2 buns and
sandwich.
some lettuce, bro.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
a sandwich with a burger inside of it. Like, you know, you got like a grilled cheese and then like a burger and then like
Also
another
known
grilled
as
cheese.
a burger. Oh,
You know what I mean?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's one of those, but with no cheese in those sandwiches. It's just bread, burger, bread.
What?
You get it?
Here's 4 pieces of toast.
It's just 4 pieces of toast and a burger.
It's
That's what this movie was. 4 pieces of toast and a burger. That's my opinion of this. If we were,
I'm trying to debate if that's a bad thing.
It's for marathon runners when they got a
what,
carb
4
up,
pieces
you
of
know?
toast and a burger?
Yeah, that might not be bad.
That's a lot of bread, man.
That is
That's
a lot of
dry.
It's
There's
dry.
No sauce. You don't get no
Oh,
secret
no sauce?
We're not talking about ketchup.
no.
There
Oh,
was
I don't
no
get ketchup?
and no cheese.
What kind of toast are we talking about?
We're
Texas toast. I mean,
big,
thick motherfuckers.
fat, thick Texas toast.
What are you even talking about right now?
So I don't know. Yeah, we went
gonna have
off
to try
the
that.
rails. You want to read what NPR had to say because obviously they
Sure,
liked
Matt,
this.
you want to take this one?
He probably
Oh,
can't
can
see
you
it.
read?
That's why I said.
No, I can't
Oh,
read.
okay.
I've never learned.
NPR. Bob, that's my thing. Bob Mondello says, Nomadland is a chronicle of the Great Recession that plays like a quietly thoughtful, real-life Grapes of Wrath, with McDormand's Fern as its understated Tom Joad. Strong, resolute, haunting.
I mean, she was haunting. That's for sure.
I guess she was resolute.
She was resolute. She was
Yeah,
like,
she
I'm
was
living
resolute.
this life. Like, I don't, because that's really what it came down to. She was like, I don't feel like I can deserve family. It's kind of like,
I guess.
It's
Like,
she was
she
just like,
couldn't-
oh, I lost my love of my life, so I can't ever be happy again.
yeah.
It's like she owed something to his memory.
Yeah.
And that she couldn't ever settle anywhere else because she even mentioned in the movie that like her husband loved the town and loved his job at the sheetrock factory.
Yeah.
You don't love your job?
Best
Cameron?
job.
You know.
So that was the interesting thing is that I was like, well, maybe I'll like this more. Like, I thought maybe it was heading to where, like, when she was coming to these realizations about him and her husband near the end, I was like, oh, well, this is the part where, like, she actually realizes that maybe she doesn't need just this life, and maybe she does want to go back and find old dude, or maybe like we find out that they still do their van thing, but then they go back and visit the family, like some pseudo happy ending,
Right.
Like,
Well, I thought that's where I was going,
and
too.
it did not. Like,
I'm pretty sure she just ghosted him too.
oh, she ghosted him hard.
She was just like,
Yeah, that was an Irish goodbye.
She was an
if I ever saw
asshole.
one.
Like her character is a douche. Like she sucks.
Yeah.
So
She's a dick.
yeah, she is. So
But she's been through trauma, so you have to give some kind of leniency there.
yeah, no, I agree. It's just, and I mean, this movie did cover a pretty long period of time. I think, like, she worked at a lot of jobs.
well, she
like,
went back to Amazon.
Yeah, it was
at the
least
end.
a
So I
year.
think it was about
at
a year.
least a year.
Yeah.
So here's another splat. Wait,
That's
nope,
the
that's
same
the
guy.
only splat. Maybe there's only one
No
splat.
splats.
I was looking.
Well, it is a 95%.
This has a 95.
So
I know it's hard to find them.
But there was 300
Tomatoes,
reviews, so there
tomatoes.
should be a couple splats.
They're really
somewhere.
hard to find. I'm not. All right, this is the last page I'm going to look at.
I told you.
Okay.
These critics.
Because we're not reviewing.
All right. Well, we've been through 3 pages. I can't
3
find
of
more
16
splats.
pages with only one splat.
Well, you've heard at least from us why people would not like this, and it's like it's one of those things. Like Matt, even with where you were with this film, like would you tell people to watch this? Like, would you
No.
tell anyone to watch this?
No, like Sound of Metal, I would have been like, everyone
Yeah.
needs. I told my family, I was
Yes.
like, you guys should watch this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't probably tell anybody to watch this. And like
Exactly.
Xena didn't
My
watch
family
it, but I'm
watched
pretty
it.
sure Xena would hate this movie.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And Sydney would be on her phone the whole time because she would just be bored.
Yeah.
So like,
fair.
and so
I did end this movie feeling very depressed, though.
Yeah.
Like, I can
Yeah.
appreciate
Well, because it didn't even end on a happy note.
Yeah,
She went
it
back
did-
to the town, the ghost town that was, and went to
Her
her
old
old
house.
house, which is
Right.
just empty and like depressing. It wasn't even like she had a. I guess that was supposed to be her goodbye because she gave away all
she
her
was getting her
items.
closure.
I guess that was her goodbye and her new beginning. I guess that's
But
where
her
they're
new
going with
beginning
it.
was the same beginning she had with the van.
But that was an interesting thing with this movie. It started, it went to the middle, and then it just went backwards. Basically, if you think about it,
Yeah.
Like she started at Amazon, she finished at Amazon. We started at her storage unit. It basically ended at the storage unit.
Yeah.
So I thought that was an interesting,
yeah.
interesting thing that the director did.
Yeah.
That's
Came
the
full
most
circle.
Interesting thing about this.
Yeah, and I mean the music was really good. Like
was.
I added that one main song to my Spotify playlist. Like I was just like, this is that piano song, and like I really liked. Like actually had a little bit of a revelation where I'm like, when the dad, the guy that was into her, when him and his son were playing piano together.
Yeah.
It was just like a really sweet moment, and like she was just in the corner being creepy and bitchy as usual, but like it was just like a really cool moment and showed like his humanity and him meshing with his family. And I'm like, oh, this is why she did the soundtrack like this, like because almost the majority of the soundtrack or the score to this film was piano, and there was just a lot of piano music in it, and I think that it was revolving around that moment. And I think it was pulled from that. Like that's at least what clicked in my mind when I saw them play.
It was that and like live music.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Like the weird old guy that sung the depressing song in the bar.
Yeah.
with the
I like
beard.
that dude, though.
Yeah, that was a weird moment.
It was very sad.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, that's like the summary of the movie.
Right.
It
was really
pretty sad, though, but
Summarized.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys want to read any more of these reviews?
I mean, no, they all
It's-
seem.
they're all just going to be sucking each other off.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, it's one of those things. Like, I guess I think critically they're going to be all up this movie's ass. I mean, it's just how this kind of thing.
Oh, and
goes.
this movie's probably going to go and win awards.
And that's what makes me mad is I bet that we will not see The Sound of Metal on any award thing.
I think we will.
And
No,
for
I thought we
whatever-
would. I'm pretty sure we will. I think it's already been like
I
nominated.
hope
for shit.
so. I freaking hope so.
Because The
that
Sound of
movie is
Metal is
way better
awesome.
than this
It's
one.
way better than
Oh
this
yeah,
movie.
because
And
it
it
has a
tells a better
love
story.
interest, tells a better story.
There was just so much more going on with
So many more
that.
things.
So I'll just save that out of
The score went up. It's
It did. It went up a point.
for
It went up to
audience.
81%.
It's closing in on my 85. Refresh it quick.
No, we'll just go in the interview. We're gonna bring it down.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing. Like, it's like if I were into giving it, like, if we did percentages and stuff, it's like I'd give this like a 2 out of 5 or something. Like, and
See, I still think I would give it. That is weird.
I mean, if it was a 5,
Let's give it a percentage. 2 out of 5 stars.
10 stars. Fine. Out of 10 stars, I will give it.
I'd give it
3
a
out of
6. I think I'd give it a 6.
30%.
6. Yeah,
60%.
it just.
Well, that's yeah. I mean, I would give it probably a 40%.
Like, I feel like it's just like those 40%
It's subpar for me.
Well, that's my thing. Is like I feel like it's such a weird thing for this movie because that 40-30% whatever was so well earned, and it was all Chloe Zhao to me. Like, even I don't even think like necessarily it was Frances McDormand. She was fine. Like, she was fine. It was okay.
She played her part well.
She played her part.
I feel like this is more a problem with the writer of the book. No offense, but
it all
read the
depends.
book, but
I mean, this book could be
or the script. Then, if not her, you know what I mean? Like,
whoever translated from the book to the film.
Yeah.
You, Billy, you did a terrible job, and you should feel bad.
Right? Yeah.
And also, can I just say that not only was this the concept of the movie was boring, depressing, sad.
Sure.
The landscape. They had to choose the most
ugliest
boring
place
place in the world.
They did that on purpose,
the
though,
Midwest.
because
outside of
she
the
was-
buffaloes, and when the weird scene when she was like naked floating in the river and stuff, that whole
True.
bit
Also,
was
did not want to see that.
no, yeah, didn't need to see it really.
It was a
But,
pretty river.
yeah,
Well, they did eventually show really pretty things.
Yeah, the
like
Badlands
they showed,
I appreciate. I like the Badlands.
but see, the Badlands still are not good looking.
yeah.
But at least it's not just plains.
But they did show like the big trees. What I'm drawing.
Oh,
well,
yeah,
actually,
sequoias.
it was
Yeah.
gorgeous. They showed the sequoias, and it was gorgeous when she went to visit
redwoods.
her dude in California,
Well, that's the thing is
Or
they
wherever
did
they
show some beauty,
Washington or California, or wherever.
which is why a lot of people turn to van life. Well, not a lot,
Yeah.
but younger people have turned to van life for
Is to go to those type of areas.
is to go see nature and nature's beauty.
Sure.
So I did think that was interesting.
yeah,
I've totally wanted to like deck out my own van.
Oh, me too. And I just want to go state park to state park and just travel that way.
That's, it's just like, just tell me when you get there. I'll get on an airplane. I'll come visit
Go
you.
right up in your limo.
I'll rent a really nice car, and I'll be like, your van sucks, dick. And then,
But I will be
we'll
like
hang out.
in some like off the trail.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'll pop open my fucking moonroof and just stare at the stars.
Yeah,
You know,
next
I'll
to a
just-
waterfall.
I'll-
Like that'd be fantastic.
There's a rock near that waterfall. I'll go sit on it, and like, I don't need a dumb van. Like, I don't know.
fair.
It's just like, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, that is another thing that was like, and I told Sydney after watching, it's like that is honestly was one of my biggest things. So I was like, nothing about this life entices me. Like, I just don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Like, it's not me.
So I've actually thought about it.
Yeah.
like doing it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's the thing, and that's what I think I even said to her. I was like, I could see. I know that you've like, you know, joked about things like that and whatever, but it's like after even watching this even more though, for me it was like even more confirmation of just like this just seems like it would be a bad idea. Like, this seems like a great way to be deeper in depression.
Do you want explosive diarrhea in a bucket?
Yeah, yeah.
Right next to you.
While
You
being
two
depressed,
would be screwed.
You're just weeping.
Our IVF.
You would. You're just.
I need like 17 buckets.
Yeah.
I wouldn't poop again. I'd just be traveling so much. I would just never poop.
I would just drill a hole in the floor and just
While
right out
you're
the floor.
driving, you got a little latch.
Yeah,
you can
my
just shit
eject
on
button.
the go.
I'm so depressed. I'm weeping and shitting, just driving down the road, crying, just like. It would be so exciting. I mean, it makes for a better film than this. So
Also true.
It's a comedy, at least.
That would be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's it though, guys. Right?
Yeah,
Nomadland?
I hope
That's
so.
it.
Yeah, I feel we're good.
Anything else? We talked about it all. So cool. All right. Well, awesome. So as far as next week, there are some things brewing. There's actually, we haven't done
Poop joke.
yeah.
Full circle.
We haven't done a PG movie in a while. I'm pretty sure that next week or this upcoming week, whenever it is when that new Tom and Jerry movie, live action movie's coming out on HBO MAX.
Live action?
Yes.
So Tom and Jerry are animated,
Yeah.
and the rest is live action.
With the girl from Kick-Ass.
Chloe.
Moretz. Martz.
I don't know.
Yep.
See,
I know what
some-
you're talking about.
Chloe M.
White eyes.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you
Eyes
say.
are far apart.
Are they? I don't know. I have no idea.
No. Don't
Maybe I
judge
just,
people
like,
on their
struck
eyes.
The most like sensitive nerve on her. I'm so sorry. They're not.
We
white
are
eyes.
so canceled after this.
Your eyes suck. If you
no,
have
they're
wide eyes,
beautiful
he's
eyes.
hating on your eyes.
They're beautiful. They're just.
I was trying to find her
wide
name
apart.
by looking up
why'd she-
Kick-Ass,
Sophie Wu.
and I don't even see her name on.
Oh, it's because they changed the way they do this.
They've changed Rotten Tomatoes. It sucks. Why did they do that?
IDMB. Or IMDb.
I am the bee.
Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yeah.
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 Oh, she's
So-
great.
Yeah.
I feel like your eyes aren't that far apart.
I could be thinking of somebody else. Maybe they're really close together.
No, I can see what you're talking about.
There's something about
Eyes
her
are normal.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yep.
So anyways, she's
are
in it.
normal.
So
Are
there's
they,
Tom
though?
and Jerry.
Hold on, scroll down.
They're kind of... I see what he means.
Maybe
I see what
I
he
don't
means.
know.
You can look at a picture yourself.
It's fine.
So anyways, yeah, we might do that. And
Nothing against it.
so
I like it actually. The white
the wider the eyes, the better.
fucking Sid the Sloth turns me on so much. Gimme.
So the the movie after that, actually, we'll talk about it later. But I think I know what we'll do.
You're talking like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
in
I think
advance?
I know what
We're
we'll do.
planning
Who are
ahead.
you?
So I don't
What?
think. So he's not going to be here next week. Matt's not going to be here next week. So
I'm going on vacation.
he's not going to be watching Tom and Jerry.
But I
Okay.
do want to watch it.
Still watch. You can still watch
still
it. It's fine.
Okay, good.
You can phone in.
I'll
We'll
allow it.
Skype call your
Oh yeah,
opinion.
I'll bring an iPad or something.
Yeah.
You get to
Onto
see
the
my
beach.
lovely face.
So all right,
Yeah.
cool. So Tom
I'll be like, here's the beach. Don't mind the seagulls.
So cool. We're gonna do Tom and Jerry next week.
Cool.
And then outside of that, we need to do our send-off songs, guys.
True.
So
Yeah.
I already picked mine out.
Me too.
As we all should have.
Yeah. So what I'm going to be doing is a song that I had pulled up that has now vanished. And
All right.
is
Well,
not
what
pulled
I'm
up.
going to do is called "Move On" by Magic Nick.
Magic Nick.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's good. It's got like a 70s feel to it, but it's like a solo situation.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's chill. I like
Nice.
it. And I feel like it has good lyrics from what I've absorbed.
Yeah.
I haven't looked them up.
And
so they
what
could
was
be
the name
really
of it again?
shitty.
It's what?
Moving On.
Okay. Moving on.
Or Move On, I'm sorry.
Move On?
by Magic Nick. N-I-C.
Okay.
There is no K.
Okay, cool. All right, I'll find that. I haven't found it right now, but sorry, I was trying to search it on Spotify. I can go ahead and add it to our playlist, but I haven't found it. So
Okay.
Oh, it could be one of those.
Did you find yours?
we've only. Oh, I found it. Yeah, I did find my song as well, but you can go ahead and do
Okay.
yours.
So mine is Just Like Me by a band called Dragged Under.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a punk metal band. And the song just hits hard.
Sweet. Nice.
So,
Horde.
His Horde. So, and make sure also when you're checking out the playlist, this is all going to be on season 2. So we've got a new playlist, and I'm building the season 2 playlist out. I'm still trying to catch up on building season 1 playlist on YouTube since I started right at the end of it. But everything is on Spotify like it always has been. So you can find it there very easily. But we do have a season 2 playlist now, not just a season 1. And if you're on Spotify, then it's got a really weird picture of all of our faces as the
The
main-
that
best.
is
Do you have a
fantastic.
fedora on?
does.
That is a cowboy hat. Thank you. Do not.
Oh,
disgrace
that looks like
cowboy.
a fedora.
Listen, it's
That's
because
a
the sides
Oh,
are.
you have a fedora on. It's cute.
Listen.
Cool. Look, you
Aw.
got the neck beard.
You're really getting into The Expanse.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
all.
so into the
Why-
Expanse that I'm wearing fedoras now.
Why is Matt just always good looking?
just
I
the
know,
Every
cutest.
picture.
so cute.
I look
so cute.
ridiculous.
Can't help it.
So as usual with following suit, now that we've got a new playlist that we're dealing with, I'm going to do another Wallows song. This is off their new album.
Repeating.
Hey!
Fine.
This is a new season here.
Fine.
So I'm going to do Coastlines. It's off their new album. It's so good.
Like sine and cosine?
No,
Are we doing math here?
No, God, no! Don't bring them into this. This is
Don't speak that evil on me.
Coastlines. One word, Coastlines.
Oh,
by Wallows.
Coastlines.
Like surfing on the coast.
Oh.
On the coast.
You know my
Coastline.
earring is
It's really good though.
peak quality.
And actually, I will go ahead and admit. So 2 weeks ago, the song that I recommended by the band that was foreign that I was very difficult to say the name of.
Oh, you failed.
You couldn't find them?
No, I had them. I just changed the song that I put up. There was a better song, so I put that one
By
on
the same
playlist
band?
instead. By the same band.
Okay.
It was a better song than the one
As
I
long as
put.
it's the same band.
Yeah.
I'll
No,
allow
no
it.
cheating.
I did one in their actual language, and it's just very good.
Yeah.
Which is
The song.
Swedish?
okay.
I think so. They were Swedish.
Pretty sure it's
Yeah, it's the band's name is Annan May Kinturninit.
You don't have to try it. It's okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's on the playlist. Just check out the playlist. But the song is really good, and it's in their language, so it's not English, but it's really good.
Yeah, dope.
So yeah, that's our send off songs. Go ahead, check out the playlist, and that's our whole episode. Want to keep this thing under an hour, which we have done.
Whoop, whoop.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Good for us.
yeah, we managed to
Well,
do
this
it.
movie
so.
didn't have a lot
The
of
part 2, you mean?
talk about.
Part two
Right.
under an hour. Yeah. Yeah, part 1 was under an hour too, I think.
I can't
so
feel
we're
my
doing
ass
good.
right now.
I cannot feel mine either. So we're going to end
bigger
now.
butt cheeks.
But yeah, so as always, thanks to Aubrey Troutman for doing our logo, and to Ketsa Music for doing our intro and outro song. It's fantastic as always. Actually, he's
I'm
been
so proud of you, by the way.
Thank you.
You finally changed from saying exit song to outro.
Oh,
And,
thanks. I like
every
exit
week.
song.
I was just like outro.
Exit song? You don't call it an exit song?
I don't know.
No.
It's when we
I like
exit.
the exit.
It just
songs.
reminds me of like Metallica. Exit.
Enter the Sandman?
Yeah.
Exiting the Sandman?
Well, I will say, y'all should follow Ketsa on things because he's been putting out some really good
Facebook.
stuff.
Oh, yeah?
I guess.
Does he have a MySpace?
He has an Instagram, which I
You don't have a MySpace?
I do. I actually logged into my MySpace the other
No,
day.
you didn't.
Trying to find some old pictures I got. Yeah, I can still get in, brother.
Really?
Yeah.
I need to
I
try.
cannot
That's
get
fantastic.
into mine anymore.
I don't know if I can get into mine. I need to try. We could call up Justin Timberlake. He owns it
Yeah.
now, right? He can tell us our passwords.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Old JT.
Justin.
We're
Yeah.
friends, you know.
Yeah.
JT
Of course,
and
why not?
me.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Continuing
All right.
with the thanks train.
So with that being said, I think we're gonna leave.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. You guys done?
See you guys.
Deuces.
Peace.